Okay, class, so in this lecture we're going to go over how to style forms. So I want you to go ahead and download the Google Forms example zip file and decompress that. And so here we have a new site folder. So we're going to go ahead and open up our class folder that we had, and we're going to add this to it. Just drop it in there, and I'm going to put an 08 since I've been numbering these, an underscore. So this will be, again, our new site that we're working from. And if you open this up, you'll notice this one actually has an HTML document already in here. Well, this is a file that we've already worked on. So go ahead and open this with the browser. And hurry up and wait. Let me try that again. Come on, Chrome, open up. Oops. I don't know why it wasn't opening, but there we go. We got it now. So this is the file that we worked on earlier. As you can see, we've got the map in here. So there's that map. So over here on the right side, now we're going to add in a form over to the right side, and we're going to style it so that way it matches kind of the layout that we have going here for the page. So let's go ahead and open up Dreamweaver. And then we'll do our site new site. And we'll name this min. We'll just call this style form. And then we'll point it to our Google Forms example here. Go ahead and choose that and save. And now we don't need to create a new index file because we've already got an index file. So you can just double click it. It'll open right up and give you all the code where we left off previously. So over here again, like I said, on the contact us is where we want to set this up. I'm actually going to quit out of this and then reopen it with the little preview browser there, so that way it'll update on its own. There we go. Alright, so for this we're mainly going to be hanging in the HTML. So like I showed you before with the introduction to forms. So right here underneath the contact us is where we're going to put this. So all we have to do is add a form tag. So we just do our form and then tab, and it'll create the tag that we need. Our action will keep blank. Method, we're going to set that to post. And then our form goes between the open and close form tag. Alright. So in this one I'm just going to do a simple, I think name, email, or maybe first name, last name, email, message, and then like a submit button. So inside the form we'll go ahead and start with our paragraphs. And here we'll do our label. This will be for fname again. So I'll put first name. And I'll do a break. And underneath that I'll do my input. So it is going to be a text. And again, to make things easier, you can come up here to window properties and quickly fill out the properties. So like the name is going to be fname as well. So there it puts the name attribute and then the ID. The size, if you want to put it in there, I think I'm going to keep that blank for now. Placeholder, yeah, I guess I'll fill that out too. First name. And I think that's all I'm going to do for now. Hit enter to make sure it takes that. There we go, now we can close that. And as you can see, it is building it right over there. Let's see, so now all we got to do is copy this. Copy, paste. So this will be last name, so I'm going to change this to last. This will be L name. Go ahead and copy that. L name, and then last. Next I'll do email address. Whoops. Email address, email address. We'll call this email, and then email. Now we need to do our message. Message, 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 message. Again, I like to do lowercase, so I'm gonna probably should have just done that to begin with. And now this one, we need it to be a text area and not just an input. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this to text area. Put a closing tag over here on the end. Remember, no space. If there's a space, it'll clear out basically where you have that text window there. So type, we don't need type at all. For now, I think that's all I'm going to put. Now we'll go ahead and do another paragraph down here. And this is going to be my submit and reset buttons. So I'll do my input again. Type is going to be submit. My another input down here. Type is going to be reset. And then I'm going to use my property window to set this up again. Properties. So again, this is changes based on what you have active. So you might actually have to click like right on submit sometimes to get it in there. So name is going to be submit. Value, I'm also going to make submit. And then that one's done. This is going to be reset. And value is going to be reset. And so now we have a basic form set up inside of this. Now we want to style this, obviously, so right now it doesn't have any styling going on with it. So that's going to be the next step, is styling this guy. So we'll come on over here to our CSS, and I'll scroll on down here. So I'll do this over here after the info. So you can style the form tag itself. I'm just going to show you it and then I'm going to take it off because I really don't want to style it in this case, but I just wanted to show you that you can. It will take an image as well as a color for the background. I'm just going to make it dark gray so you can kind of see what's going on with it. So you can see that area now is dark gray. Again, I don't really want to do that, so I was just showing that to you. So I'm going to go ahead and toss that. But inside the form, let's see, we've got our paragraphs that we can target. And there we can do things if we want, like line height that will space, like if I come in here, so we've got line height, and let me set it to, I'm going to make it something really big and then I'll set it back 250%. That changes the spacing because the label and the input are inside of a paragraph, so that changes the spacing between those because line height's leading. So if you want to change the spacing between the label and the inputs, that's all you got to do is play around with the line height. And if you set that to like 100%, you can see it's much tighter. If I start bumping it up, then it'll open it up some more. Now I see one thing I can probably do with the form is I could probably push it down to get the top even with that. So I'm going to put the form tag back in there. So I'm going to say form, and maybe I do padding. And I'm going to do, I think I'm going to just do the top, padding top, and I'll try like 10 pixels. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. It actually looks like it might be 5 pixels instead of 10. Oops. Yeah, it looks a little better. There's a paragraph, and now that I'm looking at the paragraphs again, I might get that a little bit closer. Let's got this off. Look back at it. Yeah, no, that looks alright. Alright, and then I can go ahead and start targeting form, space, and maybe this time I do input. And actually I don't need to do input. Each one of these has an ID, so what I'm going to do is just target by the ID. So I want to style these IDs, so I'll show you a little trick here. If I do the hashtag, so obviously that's going to bring up all the IDs in this, so I'm going to do, F name, I'm going to do a comma. I can do hashtag L name, so this way I can do more than one at the same time. So hashtag was it email, and then hashtag message. Now I can style all of these to be the exact same. So if I give this a width, let's see, what's our width? We'll get it based off the columns here. So they're 560. See, now they're the same width as this area right here. Then I can go ahead and maybe give this come on back up here and see what font family I've got. Yeah, the font family looks like it's good. It's staying. So I'm going to add maybe a padding to this and say like 5 pixels. So that gives it some breathing room in there. So when you type in there, it looks a little bit nicer. Let's see, maybe I give this a border, 1 pixel solid, and I'll do my dark grays that I'm using. So now you can see they all have a border around it. And by the way, this also, all these inputs in this text area, they will all take background images as well. So if you want to put a background image in there, you can. I'm going to come back up here to the paragraph. I'm realizing now as I'm styling this, I probably want some margins on these guys. So I'm going to say margin, I don't know, 10 pixels, 0, none on the sides, just to kind of space it out. Now the width is a little bit too wide now because now I've added padding and I've added a border. So see how this is going outside, it's going past the end here, so that would have been that 560. So that has to do with our box model. So if the inside width is 560 wide and then you add 10 padding to that, on either side that's going to be another 20, so that's 580, and then another 2, so that's 582. So we want to take off probably 22 pixels. So that would be 538. Save that. Where did I was off 48. Yeah, there we go. So now that adds right on up there. So you can see it click in there. Type. Now the other thing with this is that this guy is resizable, so you can kind of see break the design of this. Now I like the resizing. Refresh that. Because that gives a user, if they don't have enough room, if they don't like the height of this, they can change it, which I do want to change the height of that, so I'm going to do that here in a sec. So what I'm going to do is another IDE. Typically you wouldn't want to style this twice, but in this case the way I coded it, well, I could just remove it off here. This one's going to be a little bit different. This stuff is going to remain the same, so I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to remove that right off there. Then in here, I'm going to give this a height. Maybe I try 100 pixels, see what that looks like. It's almost spot on. Now, you notice this guy again still resizes. So I can change that. So if I want to control that, I should be able to. Oops, didn't mean to say that. Should be able to come in here and say resize. When you do resize, so you have none, both, horizontal, vertical. I only want it to resize vertical. So what I'm going to do is resize vertical. It defaults to both. So now I can't go side to side, but I can go up and down. I don't have a problem if it breaks my design up and down, because if there's stuff below this point, I mean, it's just going to scroll down, or you can see it pushes it down anyways. I just don't like that side to side, how it goes outside of my boundary there. Let's see, when we click in it, we can change the way this looks. So there is something called focus. That's a pseudo selector. So if I say fname colon focus, this colon focus is what we call a pseudo class. Some people might refer to it as a pseudo selector. This is a special class that's built into CSS. So this isn't a class I made up that works specifically with text areas and text inputs. And what it means is that when you focus on it, when the person clicks inside of the text input, you can style it. It's like here, I'll change the background color to something else. Oops, if I could spell again, or type I should really say. Trying to decide on what color I want. I'm gonna go with like a blue, obviously. Maybe something like that. So now when I come over here, see, that one turns completely blue. And I don't know if I like that blue, so I'm going to change the color of that. So I kind of got blue going on over in the marker. So let's see. Actually, I think what I'll do is like a hot pink or something. Something like that. That'll stand out. So now when you click on it, see? You can even change the color of the text if you want. Basically, any property that you can think of that you want to edit, you can put in this when you click inside of it. When you type, see, now it's white. Might be a little hard to see, so maybe I add a text shadow. So a little drop shadow to it. And then when you click off it, it goes away. Click on it, it comes back. Doesn't really give the when you click on it, that drop shadow doesn't really work with the placeholder, so it does look a little funky with that. That'd be the only downfall of that one. But yeah, so now you would do one for each one of these now. So then you just do the comma and do the same thing. So just hashtag LName, then hashtag email, and then comma, hashtag message. And then we got to add the focus to each one. So you can't just do one, you got to do it to all of them. Colon focus, colon focus, colon focus. So now when you go through them, now notice also that Chrome puts kind of that blue glow on there. That's called an outline. It's just like a border. It's written just like this. You can replace that with outline, and you can remove that if you want. So you can say outline none. And it should now get rid of that. Whoops. What happened to my... Oh, something happened to my real-time preview. Let me quit out. Reopen it. There it goes. So now you don't get that blue outline. So I'm using tab to go through them all. There it goes. All right, if you want to style the buttons down here, you can also style them as well. I just realized too, I added that margins to these guys. I'll probably take this back off where I had up here on the form, the top padding. Just remove that. Yeah, no, that's even. Anyways, so now for the buttons themselves, I can come back over here, and if I want, I can put like a class on them. Class, I'll just call them BTN for button. And that way it'll style them both the same. So those buttons, you can change the way they look. This will be dot BTN. Let's see, I'll change the background color. You can put an image on these as well. So everything takes an image. I haven't decided on what I want those to look like. I kind of like the way they look default for this example, honestly. But yeah, I need to change them, so I'll go ahead and do that. So there we can see the background color change. It's probably too close to the color here. You know what? I think I'll go with the blues again. Let's do like a light blue. So now you can see it's a light blue. Maybe I add some padding to it. So padding, maybe I do, I don't know, 5 pixels top and bottom. Or 5 pixels all the way around. Actually, it doesn't look bad. Maybe I change the border. 1 pixel solid. And I'll keep it that same dark gray. I'll do my little box shadow. So this will be a drop shadow just to kind of pull it from the background. 2 pixels and then black. Oops, I forgot a 0. There it goes. Let's see, maybe I change the font weight to bold. Make it just a little bit easier to read. And I think that's it as far as just the regular styling of it. Now when I hover over it, I actually want it to have a hover state. Let's say .btn. Now there's a pseudo class called hover, and this happens when we hover over the actual image here, or image button. First thing I'm going to do is change the cursor. You can actually change the cursor, and they give you a list of all the cursors that are on the machine. I'm going to give it a pointer, which is the little hand cursor. I'm going to come over it, see now I get a little hand cursor. And then let's see, I'll change the background color. And since I'm doing the pink as well, I guess I'll use that again. There it is. And then I'll change the color of the text to white. And then maybe I put a text shadow on that to make it easier to see. I'll just grab the same one I had up here. And again, that's just giving a little separation from the background, make it easier to read it. So reset, submit, doesn't really do anything. Click back. You got your map. So now you got a form on one side, map on the other. All set and ready to go. So that's, yeah, that's styling forms. Pretty much you can style a form just like you would style anything else. So yeah, if you got any questions about this lecture, please feel free to contact me. Thanks a lot. Bye.